Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever this may find you. This video, as the title implies, is about Kobe Bryant, Gayle King, and Farrakhan. And I'm saying Farrakhan, and I'll explain the reason why that is in a moment. As you all know, that it was a video, an interview that Gayle King did with Lisa Leslie, the basketball star. And in that interview, she asked about Kobe Bryant and her relationship with him in his alleged rape case that he had. Now, I first want to make this clear. I didn't agree with her doing that whatsoever. Not necessarily for the reasons that most people have, because they're saying, Kobe Bryant is dead. He can't defend himself, and different things like that. The first instinct I had when I saw it was like, wait a minute. I thought it was disrespectful because that was Lisa Leslie's interview. And it should have stayed that way. I think her bringing that situation with Kobe Bryant in it changed the dynamics of it, and also took the attention off of her where it should have been. The second part of that was not necessarily because of directly the result of, unfortunately, Kobe Bryant's death alone. It was more so because of his daughter. Because when you hear about the tragic thing that happened with him, his daughter, and several other people that was on that helicopter, what I first felt and saw in spirit was her and her father embracing each other, likely knowing what was getting ready to happen, praying that it wouldn't, along with everyone else on that plane, embracing each other and in panic. So those was my two most things that I felt was disrespectful, because now it's opened up a whole bunch of wounds, not only for the young girl's family, but also for every other family members that they had a family member on that plane. So that was my problem with that. Okay, now going forward, I saw a video that somebody posted, and the name of this individual is actually Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I'm not going to say that here, and the reason why I'm not going to say that here is because I have yet to find anything honorable about him, or anything he said or done. I have not found, or found in my spirit, that God has assigned him, but that he was either personally assigned or assigned by someone else. So therefore, I'm not going to address him in that manner. Because I believe that if you take on a title, you should be walking upright, whatever that title is. Just like if a person is a judge, if I see you on the streets and you're not acting in such a manner, I'm not calling you Judge so-and-so. I'm not doing that. Or if you're an officer and you wayward, I'm not calling you officer anything. I'm going to call you by your name, your birth name. So nonetheless, I want to put that out there, so I don't want people to think that this is a disrespect thing. This is a personal decision based on an observation that I have made. Okay, now in the video, I also want to state that I am responding to the video in which I saw. I did seek to find an extended version, because you could clearly tell that there must have been some conversation prior that made a lead into that conversation about Gayle King and Snoop Dogg. I wasn't able to find it, and you can also tell that there was something he was continuing to say when it ended. So I am responding just strictly based on what he said in this video that he made quite clear. So whatever he said after that, I'm pretty sure that it didn't contradict what he said, but also hyphen up what he was saying. So nonetheless, this is what happened. I'm listening to the video, and he first mentioned how Gayle King is his sister, that he loves her, but that she was wrong in what she did. And I agree, but not on the same note as he did, and most people think, but as what I stated earlier. He goes on to say that he doesn't believe any male should call any female, regardless of her age and race, out of her name. Shouldn't be calling her the B word. However, in this instant, with Snoop Dogg in the video he put out in reference to Gayle King and her asking about Kobe Bryant in that interview, he's defending what his friend and brother said. And he's saying that he's defending it because of two reasons. Three reasons. One, he said that she invoked the hurt in him, which provoked hurt language. Two, that he believes that because Snoop was hurt, and the hurt language that he expelled after which regarding her was valid. And he went on to end with the fact that the Quran states that if you are hurt and you dispel hurt language, it's okay. So I'm listening, I'm like, wait a minute. Is he serious? Do he really understand what he's saying? So now he has given every individual a false narrative and understanding, a false understanding that if you feel hurt, it's okay to call somebody out their name and it's okay to threaten somebody. He said that he was defending everything Snoop said. So as I'm listening to it, I'm realizing a few things here because there's a lot of variables to this. And I'm going to let you know this. I'm trying to figure out where to start with this. The first thing that got me is what he said. And I'm like, okay, now you giving males, any male of any age, the privilege in a sense to be able to call any woman out her name if he feels hurt. You also giving them any way that's on the fence or even already wayward to be even more wayward and to even impose a threat if they feel hurt. Not if they feel threatened, but if they feel hurt. Very dangerous thing. That was a very dangerous thing to do. So my thought was, why would he do this? So I'm watching the video and I go back to make sure I'm clear on what I perceived. And I was very clear on what I perceived. One of the first things I noticed that when he was talking about Kobe Bryant and his daughter, he simply showed a picture of Kobe Bryant and his daughter. When he talked about Gayle King, he simply showed a picture of Gayle King. Not a flattering picture, which I thought was very interesting, but a picture of Gayle King. Yet, when he showed the picture, when he talked about Snoop Dogg, he didn't simply just show a picture of Snoop Dogg. He chose to show a picture or allow a picture to be shown of him with Snoop Dogg in a tight hug and embrace, smiling and cheesing. So like, why would he do that? Why would the picture of Snoop Dogg be different from the other pictures? Well, the first thing is he's glorifying and wallowing in the fact that he has a celebrity friend. He's kind of boasting in it. Not kind of, he's boasting in it. Then as I processing it more, I'm realizing that he's not just defending his friend. As they say, low key, what he's doing, he's actually putting out a message for females to stay in their place. That's what he's doing. He's putting out a message to females that if you do not stay in your place, you will be subjected to be calling out your name and even be threatened. And the thing is, when you have a thought and the thought becomes verbal, it's so easy for that now to become action. because it went through a process within you. And something showed up on my thing. I was trying to figure out what that was. But anyway, the process is easily to go to a physical. So that was just very dangerous. So what he's basically telling women is just you stay in your place. And what was not just what was alarming was the fact that these men stood up applauding him. And what was even more, what's the right word? What's the right word? What was more insulting was to see the women there stand up, shouting and applauding what he just said. So now I'm looking back into what Snoop said. So I go back and look at the video because I remembered it clearly, but just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything or I'm not misunderstanding. So I look at the video and I noticed something. Before he called Gayle King out of her name, the B word, the bitch word, he hesitated. He hesitated. But he found a way to say it anyway, several times. And then he brought in the threat about if she keeps going, like they coming for her or coming after her. But I can guarantee you this. I believe he was hurt, bothered, angered by what Gayle King did in that interview by bringing up Kobe Bryant and asking those other questions about them allegations. But I can guarantee you all of that anger wasn't because of Gayle. And it made me remember, it brought to my remembrance a video not too long ago that came out with this little young Caucasian girl. And she was saying how now Snoop is married, right? We keep that in mind. He's married. And she put out this video stating how they slept together. He paid for her trip to come see him. He paid for this room. He gave her $10,000 or something like that. And he snorted cocaine off a private area. All of this stuff. Now, if he did, somebody could bring it to me. But I don't remember seeing a video of him being that upset. And I think he would if it was a lie, because it embarrassed his family, his wife. As the same situation he's claiming did for Kobe Bryant and his family. So my thought was, why aren't you, not that he should be, I'm not saying that. But the question still ponders, why wasn't he that aggressive with this Caucasian girl, as he is with this African-American woman, mainly when he's stating that she seemed to come after, her and Oprah seemed to come after African-American men and not Caucasian men who's done the same. But yet, he didn't go after this girl the same way he's going after her. Same scenario as far as race, right? So again, he hesitated before he said it. But I think because of the audience he was pandering to, he was able to push it out. But he hesitated, which showed me he had already processed what he wanted to say in a sense, or how he felt. And let me break this down. Whenever we hear about something happened to us that's unexpected, our first reaction is our true reaction because it has no judgment on it. However, when we have time to sit and think and ponder and go over it, now it becomes with a judgment on it. So I believe at the time that he did that video, he might have been hurt. But truly, I mean, when he saw the interview, he was hurt. Because he's like, Dad, you put him out there. But at the same token, I believe that when he did the video regarding Gayle King, he was no longer hurt, he was angry. And the level of anger he had, that video, that interview didn't bring that on. What happened is, he was already upset with females in general, And more so probably what this young Caucasian girl did and some other things that came out and the things he got going on now with his wife because of it. And all of that anger, all of that bitterness, all of that resentment went over and Gayle got the brunt of it, which tend to happen when people go excessive with their response. Their response is other things connected to it, and that person just got the brunt of it. Like you can hear somebody, like for instance, it was a video that my little brother was telling me about. Well, somebody called my little brother, but he was telling me about how it was just, I think it was either gay guy, transsexual, something guy, transgender guy, excuse me, or female. Well, I don't even know how to word that, but nonetheless, it was a guy on the subway, and he kept taunting them, and the guy was like brushing him off, not, whatever, ain't giving him too much or nothing. And then the guy pushed him in his head or something, and then the guy snapped and went off and beat this dude so bad the guy was bloody. He said he thought he was going to kill a guy. It was clear that what this guy did, the reaction of it, now the disrespect to pushing somebody, now you can push somebody and hit him, whatever, but they said the level of anger that he bestowed onto this dude probably came from some other experience that he had early on in life that this guy triggered. He could have had just got fired. He could have just lost his relationship. Anything could have happened, but now he's being taunted. So all of the things that's going on in him and things that he probably never even dealt with, all of a sudden now come out on this one person. That's why I always tell people all the time, be careful how you treat people. You don't know what their last straw is. You just don't know. And again, so with Snoop, all his anger to Gayle was other stuff, but he put the brunt of everything he felt on her instead of departmentalizing it and putting it where it should have been. Not saying it's supposed to be in that manner, but where it should have been. Go back to Farrakhan. In that video, if you find it, you will notice that right before he says he is defending Snoop and what he said and everything he said, he hesitates too. He hesitates. He looks down. He don't look like he's standing in no authority at all. And I also notice he ain't never mentioned God in this. And I notice he rarely ever mentions God. And the times that he do, you can tell he just mentioned it to just kind of grab certain people's attention. But it has no real context to it. No real substance when he does it. So I just want to let people know, be careful what we watch, what we repost. Because a lot of this stuff can spew. We already got a lot of people out here with a lot of spirits on them. We don't need no more. And Farrakhan has continually stood in his own authority, stood in his own views, and is spelling on everyone else. I have never once seen him continuously or with consistency put out anything positive without having a negative spin. He'll take some truth and he'll twist it to such a degree that if you caught up in him, the fact that he was dispelling the truth at first, you don't even catch that he done twisted the truth and turned it into something else. Period. That's exactly what he does. And the fact that he says that it's okay, the Quran says it's okay. I don't know if it says it or not, but I do know that God said several things. And he's given permission mainly to these kids too, to be able to call their mother out their name, as I said. So what happens when somebody murders their infant and says, I was hurt because I couldn't sleep and I had to go to work, and I knew if I didn't get to work on time, I was going to lose my job. And so I snapped, and this is how I reacted. So now that baby is no longer here. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't like that. So, and I also want to add this tidbit too. And I'm not going into this as a tit for tat. I just wanted to be clear that this whole thing with Gayle King would never had existed if the situation with Kobe being a married man and putting himself in a situation back then, I'm not saying now, I'm saying back then, this would not have happened. So both ends of the spectrum is wrong. It's wrong what he did to create the scenario, and it's wrong for Gayle to bring it up in a manner that she did when she was supposed to be talking about one person and one person only, Lisa Leslie, and the fact that now she's opening up wounds as far as that fatal helicopter crash. Now, there's been talk that Kobe was found innocent. Well, I don't know if he was found innocent. What I remember is that he was the case never went forth because the girl was getting a lot of death threats, so she didn't want to speak at the trial. She let it go because she didn't want the backlash she was getting. Then I hear where her and her lawyer came out later, and they said that she lied, and there was another person there that can validate it. And if that was the case, the first thing I thought was, if that was somebody else there that can validate it, why didn't Kobe bring that up? Because I think that would have helped him out. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, not pointing fingers at anybody. At anybody in particular. I just want to let y'all understand that is a spectrum. He created a scenario that's keep playing out. Is it fair that this keep playing out? I don't believe so, in a sense. In one sense of the way it played out here. But the fact is, something transpired and we weren't there, so we would never know the gist. We just know the tidbits of what we heard or we seen in the documents. And some people go by whatever people saying, even if they don't have no proof or not. So, but I just wanted to make that clear. So, though I don't agree with what Gayle King did, and the way she did it is not the same as everybody else's, as I mentioned. But I do understand that being a journalist, it is likely to happen, and it will continue to happen, unfortunately. But I do believe that some journalists do not have a certain level of decorum or spiritual compass to know a boundary. And I really feel that boundary was overstepped. I don't think that was time and place at all for that, because again, the thought of that child with her father, and he knows what's happening, as for a child, everybody else too, don't get me wrong, but it might have been another child, I'm not sure, but that's what cringes my heart for this whole thing. And another thing I want to say is we need to be careful who land we're on, who land we journey on, and who we let journey onto our land. And I say that because nothing happens by chance. Anything that happens, good, bad, or different, come with a warning. That's something. If something great happens, you'll start feeling excitement. You don't know what's going to happen. Next thing you know, somebody give you a surprise party. You had no idea. Or you get a promotion, but you felt something, but you just didn't know. Or you felt the concern that I shouldn't go this way, but that's the shortcut. But I'm going to go this way anyway. Then something happened. You're like, I knew it. I should have went that way. So nothing comes without warning. Let me say that. This situation, this unfortunate crash of this helicopter with all of these people, all of our family, because they family, whether you want to connect it to your family or not, we all one. We all the same. We just look different. We all one family. So, with that situation could have been anything from greed, a false sense of entitlement, or law of nature, how energy travels to and returns. So we need to be careful, and we need to be aware. Take a lesson from this. Don't just be angry about it. What can I get out of this to learn from it? What can we all get out of this to learn from it? You know, and Farrakhan simply took a situation and made it worse. And he's supposed to be honorable. That's why I've never been one for certain kind of titles. I understand they're needed. But anyway, I just wanna get that out there. And also, thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Jesus. I also have to note that Rhoda Martin did a segment on this same topic. Outside of Farrakhan, but the Kobe Gayle King situation. And I like his take on it. I thought it was very mature. I thought it was very insightful. I thought it covered a whole lot. I just saw it this morning. I thought it covered a whole lot. And I saw that in search of, again, trying to find that whole clip of Farrakhan, which I'm still not able to find. I'm not sure why they don't have it out there. Just that one. Very interesting, too. But not only that, he had a gentleman, and my apologies for not remembering his name, but he stated how that situation with Kobe back in Colorado, back then with them allegations and all, how over the years, how Kobe Bryant has grew as a father, as a husband, and as a human being. And when I heard that, the Spirit just went through me as in confirmation that that's exactly what has happened over the years. So, in my heart, which is also my prayers, that somewhere in his growth that he has asked forgiveness for anything he might have said, done, thought, or responded to that was improper and may cause other hurt, harm, or danger to himself or anyone else. A heartbreak, anything. Because to grow as a person and forget to do that, I just pray that wasn't the case. And I pray that him, his daughter, and all of those that were in that helicopter, including the pilot, have ascended up to the heavens. And they're looking down and they're praying and they're trying to work with us to help work this whole situation out. But again, anger is definitely not the place. We all are allowed to have, our first response to anything. And if that was his exact first response, which I can tell it wasn't, then I get that. Because you're like, what the is going on? So you get that. But it's clear because he hesitated. He hesitated. When you hesitate, that means you're thinking. Because when you got a response, your response come out, there's no hesitation. It just comes out. However, let me say this too. Let me correct that. Because if you do have a certain level of a spiritual compass that you have been abiding by, even though you may have things that's coming out, you will be able to catch yourself from either letting it happen or quickly correcting yourself if it does. And that's not what happened either. So, I just want to know, how is it that females in Farrakhan's congregation can stand and applaud what he said? Even the men. Because that means he's also given somebody the authority and the privilege and the right, even wrong, to call their mother, their sister, their daughter, their niece, their cousin, their coworker, their friend, their neighbor, out of their name and even threatening them if they feel hurt. Not threatened. Not if they feel threatened that they can boast a threat and some other things, but just feel hurt. And they say hurt people, right? But it doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right. So anyway, I just wanted to say that, and I'm praying that more people, when they see people teetering on being wayward, that we would look at each other as family and make the correction like, hey, you shouldn't do that. That wasn't nice to say, because, and just get people, we just don't need to be in a situation where we can say what we need to say because I wasn't happy when I saw that video. But I knew that I can speak on it in my circle. I knew that I was able to articulate my words, even with authority, without being disrespectful, without being rude or malice. And that should have been able to be done, but it wasn't. And again, that came from a whole different place. It didn't come from Gayle King. Didn't generate that in Snoop. That was already there. She got the brunt of it because what she did reflected and reminded him of what already had happened in his life. So again, and I hope he's able to work through that. And though I know that an apology was given, I still hope that he's able to work through that. I pray. So that's what I wanted to say. Really didn't want to make it this long, but I just wanted to make sure that I covered that which I believe needed to be covered and that which I knew needed to be covered. So once again, here we are. Family, discussing family. Whew. Y'all have a good day. All right. See you later. Bye-bye.